Hello everyone and welcome to this consumer YouTube channel. Today we are going to be giving you a story of Frank, his family, and a telecommunications company called Sprint. Please enjoy the video and let us know, did you have a similar experience to Frank's? Or perhaps you had a different experience and with a different company that you would like to share. Watch the video and stay tuned for more.
So a month ago, exactly yesterday, we went into the Sprint store. They were having a promotion on, on they were giving first line for, I think it was $60. Then the second line was going to be $30, and then lines 3, 4, and 5 were going to be free. They were giving a $600 gift card or $600 was going to go into a credit union account, and $75 per line for everyone you opened up. And then they were also giving us all phones because my daughter's phone was a little hinky, and so we figured, all right, we're getting new phones. We were with Verizon before. We wanted to see if we can save a little money. So we asked in great detail at the store. My wife is very, very precise on all the questions she asked, and they said it was going to be for the life of, as long as we owned the phones that they gave us, this price would stay in effect. There's no contract, there was no nothing, and there was a 30-day warranty that if for any reason at all we didn't like the service, we could bring the phones back, and our phones that we turned into them, because they said if we trade in our old phones, we get new ones. Our phones that we turned into them would be kept in a safe in the back room for 30 days, and they just give us our phones back. We could keep the $600, keep the $75 per line, and walk out the door, and everything would be done. Okay, sounds great. Sounds almost too good to be true. Usually is. So we asked for some paperwork on it, and they're like, no, we don't print paperwork in the store. You just sign here, and we'll email you the contract. That was a big red flag. We should have realized that was very, very bad, but I guess, I don't know. We were just in a rush at that point. So we signed up for it. They were very good at first. Our best friends, because we signed 5 lines onto their service. We got all new phones, all new phone cases. We had to pay the taxes on all the phones. Had to pay all the taxes on the phone service and everything. So I think it was what, $300. It was like a few $100s in taxes and stuff like that we had to pay up front, which we understood because you're buying in service and everything. So we went home. My son works in upstate New York a couple times a week. He has absolutely no service up there. That's a problem. The service for it's unlimited data also on the phones, which was great, except that the data was horrible. Every place I worked, I couldn't get data. Constantly dropping phone calls. My daughter's very big into social media. The cameras on the phones that they gave us were horrible for that, very shaky. The microphones were very bad. And the phones themselves were not as good as our old phones. We couldn't hear each other talking. Everybody said the same thing that we talked to them, like, all you hear is, what? I can't understand you. Okay, so we go back to Sprint, and we say, this is not going to work. We just want our old phones back. Go into the store, and when we walked in there, we were ignored at first because they had a feeling we were, not happy. All 5 of us came back. Probably took us half an hour, 35, 40 minutes to get to the counter. Finally somebody started waiting on us. The girl that was there originally started waiting on us. She went in the back to get our phones, then comes out. Went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, then walks out of the store. Now, this is going over an hour. Yeah, we're probably into this for like an hour and 15, 20 minutes. And I was starting to lose it a little bit. So I said, no, first off, nobody, I said, is anybody looking for our phones? So the second person went to follow the girl out the door. So now there's only one person left in the store, me and plus my whole family. And I went and looked in the hallway for them and found them coming out of the back hallway. I said, what's the deal? I get 1 day a week off. We've got, a few hours invested in this. I don't have this time for this. She said, well, we don't have your phones. So I thought, well, I don't understand. They're supposed to be in your safe in the back. And she says, well, we already mailed them back to Sprint. I said, we're only 14 days into this. You said you were going to keep them for 30 days. This is on the 14th day. We're coming back in good faith, and you sent our phones back to Sprint. Well, yeah, we sent them back already. Like, okay, so where are they? where are they? They're in corporate headquarters. Okay, when can we get them back? 3 to 5 business days. Okay, so we waited. In the meantime, we're on the phone with corporate Sprint and everybody else, but they said you got to give her 3 to 5 business days. At 5 business days, she calls us back and says that your phones are gone. We can't find them anywhere. We'll give you fair market value for them, which is not acceptable because now we have to go buy new phones and pay taxes on new phones. We have to pay activation fees on new phones. We have to buy new phone cases, new screen protectors, all the stuff that we had on those phones, which there was nothing wrong with, except my one daughter's phone didn't charge quite well, and they were to give us, Sprint would have given her a $450 credit for the phone towards a new phone. So she has no phone to give back. So now, in the meantime, they were supposed to pay off our old phones with Verizon also. They obviously didn't do that because we're bringing these ones back. So now we have to go to Verizon, pay off our old phones, buy all new phones, buy all new phone cases, activation fees, phone covers, the whole 9 yards. Plus, Sprint wants to charge us $45 restocking fee per phone that we brought back. So they neglected. My mother-in-law has been on the phone back and forth with Sprint and Better Business Bureau and Consumer Protections and you guys and everything for. Got to have 40 hours invested in phone time. She's retired, so it's a great thing for that. But we got them, so they're not going to charge us a restocking fee. But at this point, we had to buy all new phones, buy out our old phones that we still owed some money on. We had to buy all new phone cases and screen protectors and all that, pay activation fees, pay taxes, and then Sprint wouldn't take the phones back in the store at first because they said I was barred from the store because I was told I threatened her. And it's funny because when I left the store after that first day, I said to the girl, listen, I'm sorry I got a little hot. And she said, her words were, and I have 5 witnesses to say this, no problem, honey, you were easy. I've dealt with a lot worse than you. Then all of a sudden, now I'm threatening her. I'm not allowed to store. When she called back the last time, she said, when she told us that we couldn't get our phones back, and I told her that's unacceptable. I said, so just so you understand, I'm going to call I'm already in touch with Department of Consumer Protections, the Better Business Bureau, Attorney General, and Channel 6 Fox News, and your store will be named particularly in all of these actions because it's not a corporate store, it's a kiosk, I guess. We didn't notice when we went in there. So it makes it that much more difficult because corporate doesn't have a lot of pull over them. So when we went to bring the phones back, when my mother-in-law and my wife went to bring the phones back, and I got to understand, we're back and forth multiple times, waiting in line, they're ignoring us in line and all that stuff. They're like, yeah, you can't be in the store and we can't take the phones back in the store because you've been barred from the store. It's like, that's crazy. So like I said, in the meantime, my mother-in-law and my wife are on the phone with corporate Sprint, and they, because it went through Consumer Protections and Better Business Bureau, somebody finally in Better Business Bureau got a hold of them, and they're finally reaching out to us. But they're saying how the Sprint store itself says that, they said nothing we said was true. That we didn't. That they never said we couldn't come back to the store. So now for the third time we're going back to the store. Or now we go. So in the meantime, Sprint mailed us some paperwork on how to return the phones because the girl in the store ordered the return package. So if we were not barred from the store, why would the girl in the store order a return package and send it to our house? So now we got the return package at the house, and we're still on the phone with corporate and everything. And now corporate says, no, you got to bring it back to the store because your 30 days are going to be up if you don't bring it back in time, and you'll be charged all the cost of all the phones, and you'll be locked into that contract. And it's on top of it, it was not supposed to be a contract. We ended up being in a contract on the phones for 2 years. So there was just one thing after another with them. As it stands, we're going to be out like over $2,000 with everything.
Well, it was all these issues that you've been having. That's the estimate that you have, that you are out of your pocket.
So we had to pay 3 phones off, about $300 each. So there's $900 right there. Now we have to pay activation. We have to buy new phones, which if we had our old phones, Verizon they had a promo. They were going to give us $450 per phone to come back, but we couldn't get our old phones back, so we couldn't access the $450. So now we have to straight out buy all new phones, phone cases, screen protectors, and on top of it, you have to pay activation fees, $40 per phone. We ended up finagling and we ended up doing it ourselves at home and got it down to $20 a phone. But it's 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 hard to say what we're out yet because we didn't get any money back from anything yet. But it could be up to 3,000. We're a minimal, I would say, at about $2,000. I'd say $1,500, $2,000. It's very difficult to put a dollar amount on it at this point, but well over $1,000 so far.
So, did Sprint do anything?
At first, they were sweet as pie. We were their best friends because we're giving this big 5 people online. When I called the store back to talk to the manager, he got promoted because of great sales. So yeah, so he got promoted back to so that was a little thorn in his side because here's a kid, they were completely deceptive on all their practices, and as I'm waiting there, they're talking to people in the mall as they're going back and forth and telling them all this stuff. Oh, free phones, free this, free that, and they're just lying right out. Even after we've gone through all this with you, you're lying to us. You're lying to them. So
Frank, tell me this, please. So, where are you at right now, you and your family? What are the next steps?
So right now we went back to Verizon and we got. I had an old phone that I just reactivated myself. My wife, my son, and my daughter and my mother-in-law all ended up buying new phones, new phone cases, screen protectors, paying taxes, paying activation fees, the whole nine yards, going back through transferring all our data. And on top of it, we were with Verizon for 15 years, so we had a lot of good discounts because of being a loyal customer. So we've been trying to get that back with them, and Verizon's been pretty good, but it's still back difficult. You're going through all of that. So as it stands, we're trying to get back to where we were with Verizon. We would be thrilled if we could be back to this never happened.
I got you. Well, Frank, tell me this, please. Why did you decide to go online? Was this issue?
It was just beyond aggravating to deal with them. Like we're just getting the total runaround. This is going on a month, and like I said, we could be out up to $3,000. We're not sure, and I just want other people to understand that, if somebody tells you all these great things, it's usually too good to be true. Get it in paper. Don't wait for it to be emailed to you because that's what they told us. Well, we'll email it to you and you'll have everything. Well, when we got the bill, it was nothing what it said. So there should be. It's great to go paperless for the ecology, but the actual fact is you need something in front of you in writing to read, and read. Don't take it for face value what people tell you. So we got burned, and we'd like to make sure Sprint understands that how bad a practice that store is doing, and if we can get something back from where we're at, it's crazy. We got to pay all taxes and all phone fees and everything. If we had our old phones, we could have just put our SIM cards back in and started right up and been on our merry way.